before I started using it. And I kept saying, well, I'll set it up later. And finally I was like, alright, this is ridiculous. And I slowly started moving keys to the Naga, and it was pretty seamless transition. Yeah, you definitely need to use a lot of abilities. If you want to, well, depending on the class, depending on the MMO, but if you want to be really good at your class, then yes, you are expected to use a lot of rows of abilities. The worst offender though, is EverQuest 2. EverQuest 2, you would have 4 rows of hotkeys you would use all the time.
Perfection delivered, Master.
That was a design flaw, though. They had way too many abilities. Oops. Didn't realize.
We'll report when we're done.
Or he was at least sitting around doing nothing.
Excellent. I was just wondering what I could do to please you.
I think this is kind of the area where the world boss is too. Here's sort of a base. Oh yeah, you, especially starting off. Yes.
At your service, sir.
I mean, even now, learning a new game or learning a new class, there's plenty of times that I'll lose a fight, especially a PvP fight, because I tend to get like too excited and my brain goes into overdrive and I don't think. See, here's the world boss, I think. Is he over here? Maybe not. Anyway, yeah, I just get too riled up and I'm not thinking straight. And after the fight, I'm thinking, oh man, I could have used, this ability and this ability, and I, either would have won or I could have got away or, at least improved my chances. Oh no, ambushers. Oh, no.
Get out of here.
Oh, he's like, oh god, that actually hurt me.
You want some of this?
What is this quest? Read the 3rd Chronicle.
I call Thought-Hash heretic. I call him murderer, kinslaver, and hutlicker.
Whoa,
I should make an example of him.
Too far.
That's what the Jedi expect. That's what everyone expects. But Thought-Hash spilled blood with us. We'll find a new wand shock and go into exile together. If we both return, I'll forgive him.
She has spoken. I treasure her words. Honor Chronicles of Kizazen. I didn't quite catch all that. Problem is, another thing is, there's a lot of people, especially, I mean, this happens across all MMOs, but in WoW in particular, you've got a bunch of people who truly don't care to improve at all, or they actually think, I think this is actually worse, they actually think that they're good or they're doing fine, when in effect they're doing terrible. This is most unobvious to DPS classes, because unless you're running a DPS meter which shows you how much damage everybody in the group is doing, you can't see that, oh wow, I'm getting out DPS by the priest, or the tank or whatever. Yeah, well, let's go ahead and do this one. Actually, you know what, let's do this one first. So DPS sitting there thinking, oh, I'm doing good. And then it turns out, like, nope, actually, you're terrible. Your rotation's bad. Your talents are bad. Your gear is bad. And it's not like I expect everyone to be optimal, super optimal at all times. But if you're playing a role, even if it's DPS, you should be doing at least, 85 or 80 to 85% of the best that you can be doing considering your gear level. A lot of times you'll end up with DPS who are watching television or reading the web in another web browser, and they're just doing awful damage. And it brings the group down. You kill slower, and it actually, and one thing they don't bother to think about is it's more stress on the tank and the healer, because the longer the mobs live, the greater chance of something bad happening. Oh, this is the chatty guy.
You gonna help me?
What do you think I've been doing? Oh, whoops. Maybe that was close. Bad, very bad adrenal usage there. Very bad. Yeah, MMO's definitely one of the more addictive genres of games. They will suck you in big time, especially if you're new to them.
Chance to Leggett. Can you hear me?
Leggett to Chance. I stopped Kai Sazon's servants. They won't be getting that Ragu colony data.
Fantastic. I wish my news were that good.
You're after that scientist, the one Kai Sazon wanted.
I found her. She agreed to meet me in the ruins. I was on my way when Imperial scouts spotted me. I ditched them, but I'm bleeding fast.
Don't move. Tell me where you are, and I'll be there soon.
Look, I have to be sure. Keyword, onomatophobia. I'm ordering you to my location at Dynamite General. Sending coordinates now.
I am on my way to Dynamite General.
I'm sorry, Cypher.
Huh?
It's just... I don't want to die like this.
They can't resist using it. But you still have your mind. You can still think. That's your escape.
Well, I think we already know it's Watcher X. They kind of screwed up in the subtitles before and showed you it was Watcher X or whatever the hell that guy's name was. Alright, so now we need the other thing. But yeah, MMOs, man, I have seen MMOs wreck people's lives. You really gotta, if you have responsibilities, like a job, wife, kids, you really need to be able to get a good handle on things. I know a guy who played EverQuest. He quit EverQuest 4 times at least while I was there. And oh, there it is.
Sometimes I have dreams. They're about a world just for us, and people like us. I'm in charge, and the Chosen each have a continent. But they're dreams, not a prophecy or anything. I just want you to be happy. Hey, wait, you're actually recording?
She has spoken. The treasure her words. Interesting. Aw, she was being playful. Too bad she has to die. Yeah, this is a pretty good MMO. Not a bad one to start with. Your first MMO is like your first love, though. You'll always go through the rest of your life thinking, if only they made a game like X. Not Ecstasy, but the game. But, yeah, it's... Which is kind of a problem, too, because, as I mentioned before, I hear that crap non-stop with EverQuest. If only they made a game like EverQuest again. It's like, oh, God, move on. I was there. I played EverQuest as well. But there's plenty of good MMOs out there right now. Terra is awesome, but probably not one I would suggest to start with, because it's a little bit more in depth. But I'm not trying to make it like it's hard, but it's
Not so tough now.
it's a lot. It's different than the paradigm of non-MMOs. I think in some ways, which might throw people off, but it's fantastic. I love it. Yeah. Is it upstairs? Oh, nice. Wait, no. No, because yeah, oh yeah. Like I said, once people don't really get the MMO experience, I think, unless they play it. A lot of people complain about the whole, oh, I don't want to pay a monthly fee, blah blah blah. But that's, I mean, the monthly fee is so trivial. What the hell's the entrance? Oh, it's alright. I see. Yeah, I mean, first off, the 15-month, and not to diminish anyone's financial situation, don't take me wrong here, but if, this is an if, you're the type of person who goes out and, you know, goes to movies or you buy a lot of games or whatever, $15 for an entire month of potential entertainment is pretty huge. I just paid that much to go watch and be disappointed by Prometheus. But no, I don't think you can stick with one. I mean, some people do. I mean, there are people that I used to guild with in EverQuest that are still playing EverQuest, and that blows my mind. I'm just like, I mean, what is there anymore for this? What is there for you in this game anymore? I guess a lot of it's the people too. Some people. No, this is not right. Get hooked. And some people are like that. Some people just are violently opposed. This is where I was. Mother Hubbard. Some people are just violently opposed to change. And will just get that first game and stick with it forever. That's why Ultima Online is still around. Oh, here we go. But no, I don't think one setting, I mean, unless you just absolutely love that setting so much, I don't think it would work. You would get bored. Chance, no! You jerk.
Chance, I came to meet you.
Thank you. I'm not... Please, listen. Iana's cell is in here somewhere. The scientist Kai Sazin needs to repair the ultra-wave transmitter. The scientist will only meet with SIS. Tell her the password. Gemstone.
You don't look good. Can you get to a medic?
If you can patch me up, I can... If you patch me up, I can get to an evac point. Keyword... Anna... Mod...
You can't say it, can you? Goodbye, Chance.
Please. Please.
Bitch. I might have saved you
Clever.
if you weren't like trying to order me
But
to
you
do it.
can't kill them all this way.
I keep hearing your voice. How is that possible?
Phantasy Star Online? Wow. That is old school. I didn't play
This ain't your
that.
party.
Now I try to play all the MMOs that come out. At least initially. Just because I like the genre. Because I used to be relatively hardcore. And by that I mean, I like to raid. You know, getting in a guild, raiding, having set nights and times for raids, getting geared up to do better raids, all that. Now I was never in a top of the line guild, anything like that, but I kind of wanted to be, but for a long time my work schedule just would never allow it, because I worked on overnights for many years, and unless I went with like an overseas guild, that wasn't going to happen. Most people in the US don't raid at 2 in the afternoon on a weekday. That's true. Well, the reason you don't talk to people in groups a lot, which I actually do sometimes, I've talked to them quite a few times, I think. But I know in WoW, in particular, that's pretty much how it works. You get in a group and you just blow stuff up. Because the thing is, everybody knows their role. Everybody's done that dungeon or that instance, 20 times before. So everybody knows what they're supposed to do. So it's not a case of, okay, we need to discuss how we're going to do this. Because everybody knows. Everybody knows their role, so they just, go in and go. And some MMOs are going to be more social than others. If that's important, then yeah, you're not going to want to play something like WoW unless you either know people who are already playing, or you join and you look for a social guild, which there's plenty of. There's lots of guilds who focus on being social. Just talking and hanging out. They don't care about raiding or any of the other crap. They just want to chat and hang out and group together. And oh, jeez. And it's not like I have a problem with that, but when I was doing MMOs pretty heavily, my focus was on, I wanted to raid. Didn't want to waste time with people who were frankly not good at the game. Am I out of room? No. Because that causes you to wipe, which means everybody dies during the raid over and over again because these people can't learn the tactics, blah, blah, blah. But I've been a pretty casual MMO player now for a while.
Come on!
I haven't raided anything in 2 years, maybe longer. I'm trying to think the last raid I did. The last real raid. I'm actually having a hard time remembering. Oh, probably... what was it called? The Ice Dungeon in Northrend with the 4 horsemen and all that. Noxramas. There we go. It's probably the last raiding that I've done. And anybody who's played WoW knows that was quite a while back. No, guilds aren't necessarily time consuming. Well, think about it this way. I think I'm still in that guild on Terra, and I haven't played that game in forever, but I think I'm still in the guild. Hopefully they haven't booted me. It just depends on the type of guild. If you're going to be in a raiding guild, like even a semi-serious raiding guild, then yes, it's going to take more time. But it doesn't consume your life unless you let it. Especially nowadays, and especially in WoW. Because I know Donnie was telling me about how he still raids in WoW. And he says it really, especially once you've got it down, you're talking 1 to 2 nights a week for a few hours. And I know you ain't got nothing better to do hers, so don't play that. I know you're not doing anything else. Donnie is the guy I play Diablo with. He's been a real-life friend of mine since I was a senior in high school. we played a lot of MMOs together, mostly EverQuest and WoW. Let's go ahead and send her to sell my trash items.
I'm gone.
Wow, cleared up a lot of room. I'm out of my drinky drink. Not Donnie Brasco. I see you down there. But there's definitely a lot of misconceptions about MMOs. And raiding in particular, that, oh, you know, you've got to play X number of hours and it consumes your life and blah, blah, blah. Like I say, there's plenty of people who don't play that much, don't spend that many hours playing, and they get plenty out of it. It's just about finding people of a similar mindset as you. If you want to raid, then yes, you need to be ready to put in a little bit more time, or a lot more time, depending how quote-unquote hardcore they are. But if you just want to play and have fun and don't want to mess around with all that, then there is plenty of guilds that are out there that are basically chat rooms. And if you start running into a problem, like you can't do a quest, or you just want to do a dungeon, you just say, hey, guys, let's do this. And then you're off. But yeah, if you join a raiding guild and then you can't get pissed that, oh my god, this is taking all my time. Well, yes. That's the way it works. Yeah, the storyline in this one is nice. The story features. The voice acting, which I actually initially was like, voice acting, who cares? The voice acting adds a lot to it. Oh, hello there. Hiding behind a table.
Dr. Iana Sell. I'm with the SIS. Password Gemstone.
Wow.
You agreed to meet with us.
Don't move.
She shoots like she drives.
Hell, I barely know how to fire one of these things.
That was it.
You have no idea how glad I am to see you. I've been hiding from that Jedi for weeks.
Have you been holed up in here this whole time?
Mostly. I've been living off ration bars and some kind of edible hospital gel that even the rack ghouls won't touch. Let me show you something. I kept it with me as evidence.
Good lord, could her boobs be any bigger?
Dr. Sell, you haven't returned my calls. That's disappointing. The Jedi have plans for the rat ghouls, but I can't move forward without your support. Turn yourself over to the Nikto, or I'll make my case to you in person.
She's not a Jedi. She already killed Dr. Vernon and Professor Vrawl when they couldn't fix some transmitter. I'm the last rat ghoul expert on Terrace.
She needs you to complete a device for controlling rat ghouls.
What's wrong with my voice?
Of course she does. She's completely crazy. If that's yours, I can wait.
And I don't mean the voice thing on his mouth. He sounds different.
What is it?
Cypher, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I believe I have a solution for both you and Dr. Sell.
You want to explain where you heard that name?
Yes, well, I was hoping you wouldn't ask that.
What the?
Who is this?
Dr. Eckhard Loken. I saw your lecture on xenometaphoric epidemiology. I understand your misgivings. How did he track me here? How did he survive the ruins unscathed? Both reasonable questions. But like you, I'm a resourceful person, and we do share a common goal. We're all friends of the Republic here. Right, Dr. Sell?
You're starting to make me wonder. That's not good for your prospects.
Paranoia can be healthy, but it doesn't get you closer to the Jedi. Only Dr. Sell can do that, by revealing that I am her assistant.
You've got to be kidding.
I know Rak Ghul science well enough to convince Kai Sazin that I'm an adequate substitute for Sell. I'll be taken to the ultrawave transmitter. Once captive, I signal you, and you find Kai Sazin and the transmitter. And rescue me, of course.
Would Kai Sazin believe this man is your assistant?
What's the difference between a Hirano strain of the Rakul virus and the Bozan variant?
Mutation of the Claudite-derived gene sequence.
She'll believe him.
Doctor, please contact the authorities on an unsecured channel. Tell them your assistant is at Dynamet General and must be found.
It's your life on the line. Just be careful. Both of you.
One last thing while I wait to be captured. There is a chance the Republic will jam my signal to you. Before you come for Kai Sazin, you'll have to sabotage their jamming stations. Now, they're guarded by wilderness troopers. A good warm-up for fighting a Jedi Knight.
Alright. So he's been following me stealthed the whole time. Wow, 4K. Nice. Gotta murder these. How is loot distributed for raid bosses, basically? It depends on the guild. Most of them use some kind of variant of the point system. So, and this is very, very simplified, just for our purposes. But let's say a raid takes 10 people, and you know those 10 people show up. They all get 2 points for a successful raid. And depending on how that particular guild does it, you either like buy the items with the points. So like they'll say this nice sword dropped and the sword costs 10 points. Then whoever wants that sword can spend 10 points to get the item. There's also some people will use like an auction type system. I think we did that at one point. Sup, Chance? How you doing? Oh, you're dead. Never mind. But some will use an auction type system. So if you want the item, you can put a bid in on it secretly to whoever the loot person is, whoever's controlling the loot, and whoever bids the highest gets it. But so basically, in a nutshell, most guilds will operate in such a manner that the more raids you show up to, the more credit you get for raiding, and therefore you get better loot. So if you are in this raiding guild and you don't show up that much, you'll get geared up, but it'll just take longer. I should have went this way. I regretted it shortly after coming. It's really a fair system. Well, depending on the system, again, they choose. There's also loot councils. Some guilds will do loot council. What that means is, let's say I'm the loot master or whatever. Well, actually, it's usually not one person. Sometimes it is. Sometimes the guild leader will decide. But usually there's probably 3 or 4 officers, and they will act as some kind of a loot council. And I know all this sounds ridiculous, but if you actually play the game, you would understand that this kind of thing is needed to just keep things in order. But anyway, this loot council, let's say, again, that sword drops and 2 people want it. The loot council folks will look at the item, look at the people who want that item, and say, okay, well, you know, how many raids has this person been coming to? How big of an upgrade is it for person A versus person B? And basically they'll weigh a bunch of factors, and they will make a judgment call on who gets it. Now, obviously,
displaying all authorized destinations.
that system can cause some drama on its own, just because if somebody feels like they were treated unfairly. From Melkor Din, subject delightful collateral damage. A trio of captured Republic scouts was brought to me for questioning, but all had suffered severe radiation poisoning. Apparently, at least one neck ghoul escaped the reactor you destroyed, albeit temporarily. The prisoners were attacked by what they described as a glowing, flaming rack ghoul, which I confess forced me to leave the room for several minutes. By the time I stopped laughing, 2 prisoners had succumbed to the poisoning for their contact with the creature. Regardless, the thought of an irradiated net ghoul tearing through Republic forces in its final moments filled me with unexpected glee. I simply had to share. And you gave me 1,000 credits. That's always nice. Oh man, my contact lens is getting so bad. Definitely gotta clean it again tonight. I'm about to
What
get
a
new
day.
contacts.
The thrill of the hunt, the heat of the battle.
Mandalorian.
I hope you Imperials are ready to get your hands dirty. There's serious killing to be done out there.
A Mandalorian who likes to fight. I'm shocked.
Mandalorians follow the bloodshed, so when the Empire orders an entire planet purged, well, it's been a busy month. The Empire wants the Cathar wiped out. Trouble is, those furry critters have been bartering with the Nikto, trading land for protection. The Nikto are brutal. Cunning fighters, all of them. But the best of them are a cut above. The Nikto's Morgokai warriors are among the deadliest in the galaxy. They train to kill Force users, and can take a normal man down as easy as breathing.
I can take down anyone.
Now that's the kind of gumption a warrior needs if he wants any worthwhile heads mounted on his wall. Imps have grown tired of licking their wounds, hired us to deal with the Nikto. I imagine even the Empire's best and brightest would be tested out there. Interested in joining us?
If the Empire wants them dead, that's reason enough for me.
Fair enough. What motivates you isn't my concern. The Imperials are offering a reward for every Nikto killed, plus a hefty bonus for bringing in the Morgukai's Cortosis staffs. You make it back alive, I'll see you're paid for your kills.
Well, is there guilds like the ones I mentioned in Star Wars? I assume so. There's raiding guilds, because there's raiding content. So I assume that there's probably guilds that have these types of loot systems, because unless there's been some breakthrough in new loot distribution technology, those are the most popular ones in use when I was playing. And even if you go back real far, there was DKP, which is Dragon Kill Points, that people used. That was an interesting system. It was kind of like the point system, but a lot more complex.
Oh! You give me 30 seconds, and I'll let you in on a scheme that'll knock your socks off.
Blimey.
It's brilliant, spectaceous, a surefire way to hit the Republic right where it hurts. They're wounded.
I've heard my fair share of brilliant plans. I'm rarely impressed.
Trust me, this one's a winner. Our intel suggests the Republic is planning